let's take a look now about changing states. Another way to get the people you're getting through to, people you're going to relate to, your audience, another way to get them where you want them to be. And we talked about eliciting a state, just getting in it yourself and talking about it and being in it and getting them to be in it. That's one way to do it. Another way is to take them on a journey from skeptical, which is where they may start out, to curious, an intermediate step, to motivated. Now realize this can be anything to anything to anything. It can be bored to laughing to motivated. It can be anything to anything to anything. But the important thing is the first step is where they are right now, where most of them are. You're probably not going to encapsulate in one word where everybody is and have that sum up everybody in the audience, even if you only have 5 to 10 people. But if you sense that everyone's skeptical, okay, especially if you're giving a free talk about NLP, nobody's paid you anything yet, nobody's proven that they're willing to commit yet, everybody's just there because it was free, and people love free things, and they think maybe they'll get something free to take home, so they're still skeptical. They haven't committed. Then you can move them to curious, but the goal is motivated. So these things are set, where they are and where you want them to be. You know where they are because you've summed them up. You know where you want them to be because that's a resourceful state for them to be in. So those two things are set based on you. You decide where they are, you sum it up, use your best judgment. You decide where you want them to be based on a resourceful state that you need them to be in. But the intermediate step is something that you decide. Curious is a great one because it's just something that's really easy to use. So let's take a look at this in action. You've already used this with clients, hopefully. Hopefully you've been applying what you've been learning, or at least you remember me telling you about it. But let's take a look at using this for an audience now. You're taking it beyond the office and you're applying it to an audience. Let's say that we have a skeptical group. We want to make them motivated. So here's what I would do. You know, I've noticed that there's some skepticism in the room, and hey, I want to tell you that when I first got into NLP, I was skeptical too. I was probably the biggest skeptic. I was someone who just really didn't believe that it would necessarily work. I had to have it proven to me. So I began to get curious about it. I began to look into it. I began to read about it. I began to learn about it. I began to discover what it could do, to take classes and seminars and so forth. And then once I realized the power of it, I started to get motivated. I started to get really into it. And now I'm happy to tell you that I'm pumped up. I'm ready to teach you how to do it also. Okay, now that's a direct way to do this. That's a direct way to take them from skeptical to motivated by talking about their experience. So we're talking about skepticism in NLP. We're talking about curiosity in NLP. We're talking about being motivated to teach NLP. So that's a direct way to do it. But let's take a look at an indirect way to do it by taking them on the journey from skepticism to motivation by talking about something other than NLP. So here we are talking to a potential group of NLP learners, and we're talking about something other than NLP. And let's take a look at that. So I remember when I first started college, I was skeptical. I was at the University of Florida studying psychology, and I was wondering if they really knew anything about psychology and about the human mind. Here are all these theories and theorists, and theorists are great, but they all have conflicting views, and a lot of them seem to disagree. So I was very skeptical when I first started studying psychology. But then I became more interested. I don't even have to use the word curious here, by the way. Then I became more interested in looking into this and seeing if there was some sort of overlap or some sort of theories that really did pan out based on research. And I started getting really into it and studying a lot and learning more and really delving into it on my own time and getting the facts down beyond what I was learning in the classroom. And what I found out with my research and the things I was learning in the classroom was that this was very helpful information. The world of psychology has a lot to offer. They know a lot about the way the brain works, the mind works, the spirit even works. And I began to get excited about it. I began to get pumped up about learning psychology. So not only did I finish that degree, I went on to get other degrees because I started focusing then on education. So it opened up a whole world to me. And so that excitement just carried me through the rest of my educational career. Okay, so you see how I've taken my audience on a journey from skepticism to motivation, but I'm not even talking about the concept of learning NLP. I've done it more covertly. I'm talking about something that's over here, but it's a parallel to what they are going through. So metaphorical in a sense, if you will. It's designed to go in more covertly. But the other way of doing it is fine. If you want to talk about skepticism in LP and hit it in NLP and hit it more directly, that's fine also. Realize you can use either one, but now you know how to do it more directly and more covertly.